Thank you.
So I will call the meeting to order. And can't find my agenda at the same time as Zoom. So
There's Cindy.
there's Cindy. Look, just in time. I got the meeting started.
You want to sit over there?
Whatever.
That's close. All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I apologize. Laura, let's actually stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Will you please go ahead and call the roll and establish a quorum?
Silva.
Here.
Fields.
Here.
Riphagen.
Here.
Boyd.
Here.
Dominic.
Here. Good deal. As far as approval agenda, would someone like to make a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Laura, please call the roll.
Boyd.
Yeah, aye.
Fields.
Yay.
Fields.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye.
Riphagen.
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye. And that is why I came to this with the mask on, because me to lead this over the internet is not the most fun. So anyways, as far as I kind of skipped over that, our district and mission priorities, is always trying to keep that front and center, promoting lifelong learners through real world experiences. Specifically kind of looking at the areas of academic excellence, successful staff, resource management, and community relations.
We're backing up to something incoming.
Yep,
You're fine.
I am not put together. I'm doing my best. I don't want to forget about that. That's why I wanted our mission to be kind of front and center. Now we'll go to open forum.
As a reminder before you get started, so open forum is on the agenda for the allow patrons of the district to communicate with the entire board. We will allow no more than 5 minutes for individuals, maybe slightly more if there's an organized group. We will not, however, allow criticism of individual employees of the district that would be detrimental to the reputation of that employee. Those comments must be directed to the board through a grievance procedure. So guests may speak about items on the agenda when the board gets to those items, but first must be recognized by the board. So speakers should state your name and introduce yourself before addressing the board.
Oh, thank you. Well, my name is Cindy Wise from here in Jefferson, and I graduated from this school district and have lived here for several years and now have grandchildren in this school district and know many of the children that attend here. But I'm here tonight to invite, to put forth an invitation on behalf of the Greene County GOP. I would like to invite all of our teachers and administrators to an upcoming event on March 13th addressing America's trafficked, exploited, and missing migrant children. This is a non-political, nonpartisan gathering of concerned persons. The event will be held at the local casino with a light supper provided that night. Ticket information is available on Facebook and other news outlets that are regularly sourced in Greene County. The conference speaker will be J.J. Carroll, recently retired deputy patrol agent in charge of the United States Border Patrol. According to his bio, quote, Carroll takes his 24 years of experience in the trenches and his time in leadership roles to outline solutions, unquote. Mr. Carroll has also written 2 novels and co-produced 2 documentary films. On November 19th, 2024, Mr. Carroll testified before the United States House of Representatives Committee on Homeland Security, Subcommittee on Border Security and Enforcement, and Subcommittee on Oversight, Investigations, and Accountability. His direct knowledge account clearly delineates this American tragedy that we all, especially those who work with children, need to be aware of. I want to encourage everyone to come and hear J.J. Carroll share his firsthand experience with the horrors of child trafficking, and all of us be willing to endure the shocking facts surrounding this truth for the sake of our children. I understand our organization has been in contact with Stacy Besh regarding the J.J. Carroll Conference, and it is understood that she is coming in May to further educate our community and school system. And I was not aware of this when Mr. Abbott's informed me of her coming. I found that out later, that she had already been in contact with the president of our organization. But I feel that these two events can work hand in hand. And I feel like we are extremely privileged to be afforded the voices of two experts instead of just one, to fully inform us and provide us with an acute awareness and ability to be protectors of our innocent and beloved children and to prevent further victimization. So I hope we, all of us interested, parents, teachers, administrators, citizens, I hope we can all attend both events in the upcoming days. And I appreciate the opportunity to share this invitation tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's pretty good. That was right on exacty 5 minutes.
Was it exactly
That
5
was
minutes?
exactly 5.
All right.
Very good.
You rehearsed it, right?
No, I was hoping, I thought I only had 3 minutes, so I would have been over.
Is there any additional open forum items? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead and move on to our consent items.
We have a lot of hirings and resignations.
Which at this time of year is kind of 'tis the season because we're looking at next year contracts and that type of thing. Any questions, comments? If seeing none, yes,
Yeah.
yes, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve the consent items as presented with pulling out a retirement that we'll acknowledge here in a minute.
And that person be,
Kim Braun.
all
I'll
right,
second the motion.
perfect. We have a motion and a second. Laura, please call the roll.
Fields,
Aye.
Fagan.
Aye.
Silva,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye. All righty, and now for Kim Braun,
Yeah, I want to get her,
actual years.
yep, the correct years here. So give me one hot second and I will pull it up. But yeah, so Mrs. Braun is currently serving in as a 5th grade social studies teacher, and has been here for quite some time. So I'm going to get her.
She taught my husband and is now teaching my children.
Yeah.
And you,
Ditto. Yeah.
which is kind of fun to see the full circle of.
Okay, so Mrs. Braun has 40 years of total district experience. So this is, year 40 for her. It's pretty, so big time thank you for her service and,
Absolutely.
and obviously educating probably thousands, of students who've come through Greene County Middle School. So I'm unsure of the other school that she's been at. I think it's probably maybe between here and East Greene and or Jefferson Scranton. So, but incredible. So again, big time thank you for her service to our district. So I'm just gonna go ahead.
Absolutely. Does someone want to allow her to retire? Well, otherwise she just won't.
I will make a motion to approve the resignation retirement of Mrs. Braun.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Boyd,
Aye.
Fagan,
Aye.
Fields,
Aye.
Silva,
Aye.
Dominic.
Hi. I always kind of have to laugh. You know who's someone who's had them before because they're still Mrs.
Oh.
Braun or Miss Greene. Not
Yeah.
I call Teresa Greene. Not if you had her. It's still always that way. So Anyways, we don't have any old business, so we'll go on to reports and correspondence, starting with the superintendent report.
So we're obviously not doing student and staff recognition, just with our cancellation of school today. So haven't made a decision as to what we're going to do tomorrow. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I'm going to talk with Mr. Johnson, who's our shared superintendent. Well, he's not our shared superintendent. He's a shared superintendent with Peyton Tran and Southeast Valley. Him and I usually collaborate on those types of decisions. Anyway, just been kind of busy. We got this is negotiation time. Obviously, this is hiring time. Insurance and all the fun stuff. So, so I will save that. If you guys have questions for when we eventually get to our admin reports, we'll save it for that.
Sounds good. Are there any board committee reports to? Any, I think some information kind of started coming out about the students and their recognition night. Is that May?
Oh, for senior night?
Yeah,
Yep. So we're Mrs. Shannon might know a little bit more about
that's
senior night.
coming up. And it just shocked me. It's like, oh yeah, I got to start thinking graduation, even though it's February.
Yeah, we moved it up to May 7th because there was a school board meeting on May 14th. So we didn't want to compete with that. And some of you will be at the awards. So we just moved it up the week earlier, which is May 7th. So that's been communicated to all the scholarship organizations and our parents as well. So.
And I would say I received it because I'm on part of the scholarship. That's where it kind of came up at this point. So thank you.
Yeah.
Any our other administrative reports from our administrators? Anyone have any comments, questions, thoughts? Is Brent actually in here? Is he?
He's listening.
Okay. I wanted to know what is the cave?
You haven't been listening to The Cave?
I read your report. I have not listened to the cave. I wondered what that meant.
Tune in Monday mornings, Raccoon Valley Radio, 98.9. It's seventh grade girls, are doing a podcast on the happenings at Greene County Middle School. We've interviewed famous people like Mr. Brett Abbott's, Coltrane Carlson, Abby Gersma, middle school basketball coach, Kara Osborne, and then the girls have also had some really interesting conversations on like the relevance of Valentine's Day for middle schoolers. So
Super relevant.
Anyway, it's every morning 6:40. They broadcast it on the radio station, which is fantastic. We also post it on our Facebook page and on the website.
Sounds good. That's cool. I think that was it. Does anyone else have anything else with administrative reports? All right, hearing none, we will move on to our new business. School driving permits. Michelle, are you okay to talk, or do you want me to hand it over to Bonnie since she's here?
Bonnie is shaking her head.
Michelle will do a great job.
Go for it. We'll do an abbreviated version.
I can take it. Do I have Aiden or Haley? Are they?
Both of them are here.
Excellent. They must want their permits really bad.
They really do.
Okay, well, Aiden and Haley, what I'd like you to do, Aiden first, what we have our permit applicants do is just stand up and give us your name and why you would like to have a school permit.
My name is Aiden Clark, and I would like to have a school permit so I don't have to ride the bus anymore. I hate the bus.
All right. And Haley?
My name is Haley Bess, and I would like a school permit so I can drive practices.
Okay. Well, hopefully you both have the application from the DOT. It's form number 430021 that was approved in July of 24. That's the latest, greatest version. And I'm going to highlight a couple of things on this form that you need to be aware of, but ultimately you and your folks or your adults need to know all of the rules and regulations, and you need to follow them. So on your form, you can list up to not just one residence, but two if you have maybe a living between two different grown-ups. You can list both of those as valid places of a residence. Your biggest restriction is that you drive only 25 miles away from home. And whether you're doing that for a school event or for work, your limit is 25 miles. And your time limit is an hour before or an hour after your activity. So if the bus leaves for I don't know, some sort of a performance or an event at 7 o'clock, you can be 7 a.m. You can be on the road as early as 6 a.m. And if the bus gets back from a basketball game at 10:30 at night, you can be out until 11:30 at night. So beyond that, you do still need to kind of stay on route. So if you live in Jefferson, you shouldn't be over in Scranton Casey's getting your fuel. You need to do that there in Jefferson. The other really kind of important thing to remember is that you can have one other passenger with you who is not a relative that lives in your house. So if a friend wants to ride with you, that's okay, but your friend has to get in the vehicle with you at your place. You're not to go and pick them up. That's one other person that's not a relative that lives with you. And most importantly, everybody has to wear a seatbelt, front seat, back seat, both. If you get in trouble and you get a ticket, you're going to lose your permit for 3 months, and you will have to wait an additional 3 months to get your regular driver's license. If you get in trouble again, then it's another 3 months, and now you're 6 months until you can get your driver's license. So just your best bet is don't get in trouble. Hands-free, no electronic devices while you're driving. And then I'm going to make a motion, and then once we approve your permits, then you'll have Cindy sign the document for you, and then you'll take it up to the courthouse. So with that said, I move to approve Aiden and Haley for their school permits.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second, please call the roll.
Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Silva,
Aye.
Fields,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye. All right, if you two want to come up and I'll sign them.
It's mandatory to stay the entire time.
Uh-huh.
It is not. You can leave if you would like. You can also drive to school board meetings if you want to come back.
Yes. We'll give you a super permit if you do.
It's a real thing. Thank you. Yeah.
The points are totally made up.
All right, moving on, fundraiser request.
We didn't have any.
There wasn't that any.
Wow.
That's
I know,
weird.
I know, it was weird. I even went back to my email.
I'm just hitting refresh just in case there was something. All right, and now setting the public hearing for the 25-26 official school calendar.
Yeah, so we do have a draft there of what our 25-26 calendar will look like. There is a piece of legislation that is that has been introduced about changing the start date to be the Monday following the state fair. The initial one that they put in was the Wednesday following the state fair, which, whatever. I hope they just make up their mind. I do have a calendar created just in case this date should change. I didn't think it was relevant to put the two up side by side because I don't want two getting shared out. That will confuse people and whatever. So anyway, this has us starting on the 25th. And then ending school on May 29th, which will be after Memorial Day. So we put together a calendar committee we had 2 staff members from every building. So we had Carly Tiffany Brown, Aspen Cloninger from the elementary. We had Carla DeZuris and Derek Merck from the middle school. And then Sean Smolik and Luke Boyd from the high school. And then Brent Gersma also sat in with me. I gave them a number of different objectives that we had to meet, which was about complying with state guidance on days of instruction or hours. We've always went with hours, or at least to recent memory. About maximizing student learning opportunities, supporting staff professional development, balancing workload with well-being, consideration of contingency plans, like what happens when we have days like today. Promoting equity and fostering alignment between school districts, so between here and Patriot, and then being able to facilitate some transparent decision making. So it was really kind of a positive experience, I think, for that group, just knowing that we don't just start plugging colors and numbers into a calendar for no good reason. There's a lot of different things that we have to think about in terms of, some staff needs, parent needs. There's a required number of hours for both regular school, K-12, and then also for preschool. So we had to think about that. So that's why we put a lot of those professional development days on Mondays, so that wouldn't interrupt or lose out on their hours because they only come Tuesday through Friday. So we did do a full week spring break. I know that was a big thing for staff, and we do have 2 full weeks over Christmas. So I think our staff got to experience what it would be like coming back on January 2nd, and which we actually had a snow day, and the general consensus was we didn't like that. So don't do that again. But anyway, so we did try to look at ending first semester before Christmas, and the math just doesn't math. We just don't have enough minutes unless we were to kind of really significantly overextend our high school day, which was kind of one piece of a rationale as to why we went to semesters, which was to kind of shorten school days. So we could do it. I think I had figured out we'd have to extend each school day by about 22 minutes, so I didn't even propose it, but anyway. So that's that. And so really, if there's any other questions or discussions or things you want to talk about the draft calendar or considerations between now and then, but really the whole purpose of this is just to set the public hearing date, which we would just do or what was typically done anyway at our just next regularly scheduled board meeting, which is March 12th.
What is the last day for PK? Am I just not seeing it?
I didn't see it on there, maybe.
I think it's still going to be the 29th. It's going to be the same day.
Both.
Okay, thank you.
And I may have to. Usually we do end preschool earlier, so I might have to add that, which is okay because this is just a draft, and so we can finalize it before we board approve it next month anyway. So.
And are you saying if legislation changes, we might start sooner?
Right, we could
Okay.
if
We
the
could
bill
if
gets
it changes.
passed.
If we can do it before the 23rd, we may start sooner.
Correct.
Okay,
And
and
then-
we
but
would
then-
know that when?
Whenever they pass the bill.
Right.
And
Is
what-
that March?
Well,
April?
see, this is the thing, because there would be there's no tax appropriation to a bill like this. So it doesn't, my concern or fear rather is they're gonna just staple that bill to the back of another one
Mhm.
and just say, oh, hey, by the way, and school starts this date.
I think
And-
they decide that too late. Will we just forget it for this year and do with what we have and then next year do it? Or would we still want to change it last minute? I guess my question is how solid is it that we would start after that weekend?
Oh, after Memorial Day?
After the 23rd, 4th weekend of August? That's still pretty
Oh,
loosey-goosey.
I don't even know like a percentage chance to give you of
Yeah,
what I
okay.
think it is. I
So-
haven't heard much traction on us starting on the 18th but as of right now, I have it starting on the 25th.
Okay,
So if by March 12th, they have not decided, we would just go ahead and approve our calendar as presented.
So yeah, we could approve it, or we could come back around and do the exact
Do it
same
again.
process if,
All right.
and we'd have to do it.
that's the question I was trying to ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that March 12th is a drop dead date, but I think we would maybe need to decide because I know families plan vacations around our
Right.
calendar.
Yeah.
However, even if we were to start on the 18th, like the Christmas vacation's not
Those
going to
breaks
change.
are
It's still going to be that same 2 weeks, and spring break's still going to be the same 2 weeks. It's really just going to be where our quarters and semesters end, which I don't think is a big make or break deal.
Okay, cool. All right.
Anyway, yeah, so we're just setting a public hearing date.
Public hearings on March 12th.
If they make the motion,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Probably.
yes.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to hold the public hearing of the 25-26 official calendar on the next regularly scheduled monthly meeting on March 12th, 2025 at 5:15 in this district board room located here at 101 Ram Drive, Iowa, Jefferson.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Fields,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Silva,
Aye.
Rick Hagan.
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye. All right. Moving on to summer projects.
Yeah, what a list.
There's a lot.
It's a list. So on said list, there are some things twice, and no, that's not by mistake. So I'm just gonna kind of go down this list and why we're doing this all in one fell swoop instead of all individual. These are all PEPAL and sales tax purchases. So the first one is for a minivan, to replace your minivan, total cost of $40,991. And then the next two are for two Suburbans. So we're gonna replace two Suburbans at a cost of $59,858 each. The next one is two things as well. It's doing dirt work to do practice fields at our high school. This would be done by Andy Murphy. So at a cost of about $63,700 per field, with the amount of dirt and grading and everything that's got to go into that, which does not include like when we irrigate it and then seed it, that'll have to be separate. Then we do have two bids for a sound system at the high school. So this is where you guys will have to make a decision as to which one you want to go with and throw out. There's two in there. One from DB Acoustics for $71,280.86, and another one from A Plus Communications for $94,880. Brent's here, so he can talk through some of the sound stuff when we get there. We do have a bid to replace all of the windows on the south side of the middle school for $53,500. We had initially estimated that this was going to be about $160,000. We got a quote, would have been the end of my first year, the summer of 2023 at about $158,000. So, and they're a third of that and doing all the same work that we need. So it's kind of amazing. 3 heat pumps at the elementary there for $24,795. Conveniently enough, the exact same price for two different carpeting projects, both at the elementary. There's two different bids there for $24,795 and then $16,410.
For the heat pump and the floor coverings were exactly the same.
They're exactly the same. Yeah. We can double check there.
Not going to.
That might. We'll see.
And then there's two different areas that need floor coverings. Is that what I?
Yeah, so what we did is we kind of went through and audited what we have for carpet needs at the middle school and realized that we didn't need to do it. There's nothing left here at the middle school for us to do, so we shifted over some of that budget to the elementary. Typically, we allot anywhere from like $25,000 to $30,000 a summer for carpeting. So we pushed that over and allotted we budgeted for about $40,000, and we're slightly over that, but we're still way under what we typically budget in a year. And then there's no flooring needs at this time anyway at the high school.
So Laura did verify those are exactly the same, which is just crazy.
It's pretty wild.
With your dirt work,
Mhm.
I know we have spoke about why we're doing this and going that route. If you want to maybe explain a little bit more, just so that I think the rest of the people know as well.
Yeah. So we had talked as like a central office group. So it was Sean DeMoss, Adam Snowgren, Dave White, and myself about bringing our two current practice fields, well, really 3-4 when you think about the other two, what it would take to kind of get those into a position where they would just be in a better condition, better quality, and just going through and estimating the cost for dirt work at these two fields, and then you have to irrigate them and you have to seed them all in the same time. And so the cost that we ended up coming up with became almost the identical price of just doing two practice fields at the high school. That was the kind of the intention, and in the first place anyway, was to have practice fields at the high school. We do have a water source that's already there. We have locker rooms there, so kids aren't changing in the parking lot anymore to be able to go to practice. We can have a solely dedicated field for both boys and girls soccer. And then during the fall sports, we have dedicated field for both football and then for our marching band to be able to do that. So kind of serves a dual purpose there for what our kids can do. It also, although it's not like a complete like actual paved out parking lot, but now it gives us an option when we have to consider additional parking for our like for home football games. If we do need to move some cars out to go park on that practice field, now we're not parking on someone's practice or a programmed practice field necessarily. So that's kind of the general, couple of the general reasons there.
Okay, would you explain then the difference? Is there a difference between the high school gym sound system, the two that we have presented to us?
Yep. So I had, yep. Thanks, Connie. I have Brent can talk through the two different ones, and then I'll also add something in if he doesn't hit on it, which I'm sure he will. But
Sure. So first off, the background. I think some things look better on paper than they do in execution. I talked to the previous IT director, and it sounds like the electrician was the one who installed the speakers in the gym. So I don't know if it was maybe lowest bid or what, but it just wasn't engineered very well, to be honest with you. There is sound in the gymnasium, but when I brought both of these guys in to kind of go through it, they told me we basically got to rip it out or add extensive speakers to it to make it where it should be, especially for a gymnasium of this quality with all the metal we have in the facilities. So the first thing they want to do is add acoustic paneling to it. They did add little rivets in the ceiling for an acoustic just to try to make it sound acoustically better, but it's not the right thing to do in this situation. We have to add panels. So that's included in both of those bids. The one that I was really impressed with, to be honest with you, surprising, is the cheaper one, DB Acoustics. They, number one, they gave me kind of a pedigree of all the places they've done, which includes, I believe, the South Dakota State Stadium, the Jack Rapids, as well as lots of schools across Iowa. I've talked to other IT directors that have worked with them, and nothing but really good reviews. And they know their sound, they know their engineering. They basically, the things he was doing kind of wowed me with how basically latency between your voice and how much time it should take before it travels to another person. And they had all these scientific studies on how much time it should take with this, and our gym is not close to where it needs to be, essentially. Again, just not engineered very well. So that's what they'll do. A+ wants to add on to our existing system. So we have like kind of a central array set of speakers in the middle that blasts our sound out, and they want to add a couple more in each corner versus DB Acoustics would take that out and then just do like a tiered speaker system all the way down with, so for instance, if we have a speaker, they engineer it so that the voice or the delay in the speakers makes it sound like you're actually hearing it from a person. So there's just a little bit of delay, whereas, so if we were to have high school graduation in there, for instance, it would sound like you were standing in front of the speaker. And I was at a graduation in Wisconsin with the exact same, it was my nephew, with the exact same setup that they put in there, and the sound was amazing. It was so much different, like just remarkable how much difference there was between ours and what theirs was. So yeah, the price blew me away, the engineering, and it just, unfortunately, it just has to happen. He did say, you know, we have all this really nice equipment, and about the only thing they can use is our Bluetooth player. Even the microphone system they put in there, it's non-modular. So if Mr. Wright takes the microphone and walks to the corner, there's no speaker, there's no antenna that sticks out of the top of this metal box that it's in, so it cuts out. So let's just add a microphone or a microphone antenna to it, but we can't because it doesn't support that. So again, it was in this situation, I think what we did was we found the cheapest, or maybe the price was right. And sometimes that looks better on paper than it does in execution, and that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. So,
Is any of our equipment able to be resold?
It's a good question. I'd like to explore that because they are working speakers or repurposed. You know, I don't know if we could put them in the middle school gymnasium. I'm not sure what the option on that end is, but yeah, it'd be good to get something back for them.
it's kind of an interesting comparison. Like if you go into our auditorium, then the sound there is flawless, really, because that was done by sound engineers.
An audio engineer.
And our gym was done by an electrician. And there's just a categorical difference, I think, when you're in there. And, when we have $1.5 million gym and about a 13-cent sound system, I'll say it's kind of embarrassing sometimes.
I would agree.
So, among other things, but. Any other discussion or conversation about any of those items on there other than just the sound system? Even because you guys do have to make a decision on that one.
So I just have a question for Brent. So you would recommend then the BD is what I'm hearing you say? Is that correct?
Yeah, DD Acoustics is the one that I would recommend, the $71,000 bid.
Okay, great, thanks.
And I would throw out too, this is Michelle, that I don't know if any of you this is the first time you're seeing this list, but Tim, Brett, and I did meet I think last month and looked at a lot of these, actually almost all of these items beforehand, just so you know, he's not just bringing these things to us pell-mell. But we did kind of vet them a little bit ahead of time.
They're not out of thin air.
No. Wasn't there a checklist that kind of said committee recommended?
Yes.
I mean, okay, I remember.
I
seeing that.
just didn't think we needed.
We don't need that, no, but I remember.
It's public.
Um,
It's public because it's on my computer, so if anybody really wants to see it.
No.
It's basically just more or less it's for us to all be on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that was helpful.
Do we know the exact cost not to exceed? Because that will, if we go with
For
the
the
71,280. There, thank you.
Yeah, so I just reversed it out just so you can see the total February request cost being for those different projects. Although I like a minivan and suburban art projects, but I mean,
Yes. Any other further discussion on these items?
Do we need to make a motion on the sound system first before we?
All of them, you can do it in total for the request not to exceed 478,888.
because that would be the DB Acoustics bid and not the A+ bid. So all I did there, Tim, if you see it, I just reversed out the 94,880.
Do I need specific wording?
It'd be to make a motion to approve the summer 2025 work projects as presented for request in February for an amount not to exceed 478,880.
Okay, let's see if I screwed this up. I'll make a motion to approve the summer 2025 work projects requested here in February with an amount not to exceed $478,888 as presented.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Fields,
I
Boyd,
Aye.
Silva,
Aye.
Fields, dare I say Fields?
Yeah.
Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Dominic.
Aye. All right, approved. Just on that report, just in general, I liked having the budget summer expense, the total amount we have, and then what's remaining, so I appreciate that. Moving on to Raccoon Valley Field Maintenance and Lawn Care.
Yep. So this is kind of an all-encompassing contract. So JJ and I met and talked about for him to do the fertilization and care of all of our areas. And then plus he is going to take on, or what I've asked him to do is he's going to take on mowing and fertilization, control and monitoring of irrigation, aeration, all seed and fungicide, insecticides, and everything of all three of our competition fields. So softball, baseball, and soccer/football. And the way he put them in here is he did it by field. So just kind of running down. So for the soccer and football field, it'd be $19,700 per year for 3 consecutive years. So we can get locked into that price because a lot of his price is controlled, obviously by equipment, but then by product as well. For the baseball field, $15,300. That's per year for 3 years, and then softball being $4,800. So I think we have seen in the past some of the work that JJ has done and Raccoon Valley Lawn Care has done with our fields and how and how good they look. And then also the kind of the turf experience. The other thing to note though is that for our fertilization bill last year was about 31,600, and so now that bill isn't going to be on top of this. It actually got cut down to 15,400. So he did drop that a little bit. So really, we're looking at adding about $20,000 a year for him to, or for his company rather, to maintain and take care of all three of our competition fields. So I'm just kind of knowing him and his reputation, I think he's going to do a pretty darn good job. So.
Are the practice fields just maintained by district staff?
They would be, yep. Yep.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I mean, he would still do, like, if we needed any aeration, seeding, fertilizing, whatever on those, he'll still do that. It's a part of this. But in terms of like just mowing it, it would just be mowed by our staff.
Okay, thank you.
How often do they get aerated, reseeded as far as the practice fields?
I think it's 5 times through it. So he does an early spring, a late spring, summer, and late fall in terms of fertilizing. But he will aerate our practice fields twice each.
And that is included with this whole kit caboodle, even though I don't have to see it directly. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the fertilization contract with Raccoon Valley Lawn Care.
I can second that.
Just so you know, the total amount for everything altogether is $55,200.
In an amount not to exceed
55,200.
200.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Rip Hagan.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Boyd.
Aye.
Davendeck.
Aye. All righty, moving on to the district career and academic plan.
Yeah, so I know Karen Sandberg is online. She can talk about that, and then Kyle Kinney is here as well to go through it. So I just asked them to kind of do like about a 3 to 5 minute kind of overview of what it is, and if there are questions, then we can dig a little deeper if we need to. Oh, it's on the hour.
What is that?
It's Karen's clock in her house.
Sorry, I unmuted before my clock was done putting itself back to sleep. So this is a PowerPoint that we used to when we met with the advisory team, which is a requirement under this plan. The overall purpose is to make sure that kids in Greene County, all the way through their years with us, have experiences that will help them gain an understanding of themselves and what they're interested in and what they want to do next. And then we need to be able to provide them opportunities throughout their years with us to learn about careers, see what careers are like, as they get older, go and experience careers, so that when they leave us, they're kind of set up for success to go do whatever it is that they want to do next. So it's a requirement from the state. You can go on, Sean. And we're also required to have an advisory team. And so the advisory team has to be made up of lots of different people, community members, CTE teachers, gen ed teachers, administrators, career or different industry people from the community. So we had a meeting, I would say it was about a month ago. And we are supposed to meet once or twice per year just to look at the plan, look at the things that we have set up for kids to experience. And then they provide feedback on that and offer any suggestions that they think that we could maybe put together for improvement or to make the plan a little bit better. Go on, Sean. So this overall district plan is linked so that students can make their own individual plan. That plan is created in their 8th grade year. And basically what they're trying to do is say, okay, if this is what I want to do when I graduate, then I'm going to need to make sure to take the classes along the way that are going to get me where I need to go. And what other experiences might I need in order to do that? So there are lots of activities within our Zello program that kids are able to get in just to do some like virtual career exploration, as well as some personality surveys and things so that they can kind of figure out what they're interested in doing. They also have scheduled for guest speakers to come in, and they work with the counselors in order to create the plans. And then after the plan is created in their 8th grade year, it has to be monitored every year after that. So even throughout their high school years, they're going back and revisiting this plan, adjusting it as it might need to be adjusted, and continuing to put it into place so that they're able to do what they want when they leave us. Go ahead, Sean. So this is basically what that plan looks like. In 8th grade, they get together with the counselor. They kind of do some introductory activities within Zello, and therefore they put together this plan, and then parents also sign off on that. In 9th through 11th grade, then they work on making sure they get those classes that they need in order to go. They meet with advisors during advisory time. That's kind of built in. And then when they're finally seniors, they are making those final preparations to leave. Along with parent meetings that they come in, and that includes like work on FAFSA. It's a hard acronym to say. I'm better at ISASP. But, and so that sets them up. Go ahead, Sean. These are the 5 areas that need to be covered within the plan. They need to know themselves, know what careers are there, be able to go and explore some of those, think about what's going to come next for post-secondary, and then they actually make their decisions. When we went to the workshop earlier this year, I believe they said if students don't have a plan in place by their freshman year, they gave this, like, it was like less than half of them will actually go on into post-secondary work learning. They just will leave and go, to get a job, not any apprenticeship or community college or any of those things. So it's really important to help them plan early to set them up for success when they leave us. And then these next few slides just show what are some of the things that we do as a district right now in each one of these areas at each grade level, so that they're building all of these 5 components as they go. And then we had this at the end where we asked for feedback. I don't remember. Is Karen Shannon in the room?
I am, yeah.
How many people were there, Karen?
We had about 27, like 27-ish. And that included some students and parents as well.
Yeah, I forgot to say students, didn't I? The most important part. But yeah, so we had a pretty successful meeting, and then they gathered the feedback afterwards. Everybody put in some feedback about what they found that was that looked like it was beneficial in our plan, and then what ways might they see that we could improve it. And so we have that feedback now, and we'll continue to use that. Every year this plan is updated and revised and then submitted again. And each year when the Department of Education gets it, then they kind of give it a score using a rubric for all the components to make sure that we really have everything up. And that rubric just recently changed. So we're pretty new in there. So right now our score is on the low side, but that's kind of where everybody is right now as we continue to put things in place. And that actually is why we put the advisory into place, because that's one of the important components. And to regularly be meeting on that. So we'll continue to put some other things in place so that we just continually improve.
Excellent. Does anyone have any questions for him or any further discussion regarding this?
Thank you for including that.
Yes.
I will say one of the pieces of feedback that we got from students was their senior year, they do a class called Band Ready that's required for graduation. And it includes a lot of things like mock interviews, there's job shadows, and they do a lot with their just filling out applications and resumes. And one of the things that we kind of took away from that is instead of having that their senior year, they're wondering if it would be better to have it their junior year. So that's a change we might, we're going to be talking about what that change could look like as far as in the schedule goes, because I feel like, sometimes it's a little late to get that opportunity. And then just we had, looking to see what we can do to expand that job shadow opportunity to more of our kids. So those are a couple of the big takeaways we got from their feedback.
And on the slides in the advisory, we had pretty much just high school students, but it does trickle down to even into elementary as well. Career fairs at the elementary level are going to look obviously way different. Might be just a police officer, it might be a doctor, it might be, just something like that. So trying to hit on it at different times every year, it's going to look differently depending on the kids, and just make them think about that, just for them to think about why school is important.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time and getting that together. So appreciate it. Moving on to board policies, 200 to 204. And they were all about the board.
Yeah.
Which was good.
Yeah.
Review.
I don't think there was any corrections or modifications. All right, any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the board policies?
I'll make a motion to approve board policy 200 to 204.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Silva.
Aye.
Verhagen.
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Boyd.
Aye.
Davidic.
Aye. All righty. I once again apologize for my late arrival, but we still got out of here at a decent time, so I appreciate you all. Thank you much, and we'll adjourn.